Hello, I'm Mary Beth Fisk, the CEO and Executive Director of the Ecumenical Center. For over 50 years, the center continues to serve San Antonio and South and Central Texas. During this time of COVID-19, our stay-at-home orders, we want to bring you a few short videos that will highlight coping strategies, healthy relationships, and wellness information. You are all in our thoughts and prayers. Stay safe, stay at home, wash your hands, remain calm, and find your joy even in these challenging times.
Hi, I'm Marla Rushing. I work for the Ecumenical Center. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I've been a counselor for 25 years. I'd like to talk today a little bit about considering forgiveness. Sooner or later, everyone will have a need to forgive someone. The situations may be different, but the process is similar. I found noted psychologist Dr. Robert Enright's work many years ago when I was in this situation and found it very helpful from a research point of view. As a Christian, I had repeated the Lord's Prayer many times, and I knew that I was asking God to forgive me as I have forgiven others. If that's the case, I was in big trouble at this turn in my life. I knew I needed to forgive, but I had no clue where to begin. We have so many opportunities for forgiveness, ranging from an unfaithful spouse, betrayal of a friend or coworker, maybe a father dies and leaves all his estate to his girlfriend, a child who steals the heirloom jewelry to pay for a drug habit, a mother may abandon her kids, a drunk driver who kills a family member. The list can go on and on. So just what is forgiveness? The Webster Dictionary defines it to give up resentment of or claim to requital for an injury, to grant relief from payment of a debt, to cease to feel resentment toward an offender. That in itself is a very tall order. But Enright adds, when unjustly hurt by another, we forgive when we overcome the resentment toward the offender, not by denying our right to the resentment, but instead by trying to offer the wrongdoer compassion and benevolence, realizing they don't necessarily have a right to these gifts. With this in mind, forgiveness can be seen as a process, a choice or free gift, merciful restraint, and generosity. At this point, I would like to point out that forgiveness is not necessarily a restored relationship or reconciliation. There are times and sometimes reasons that would make reconciliation dangerous, but it can happen if all is healthy enough to lead there. Forgiveness also does not depend on these things. It does not depend on forgetting. Many people tell us to forgive and forget. I'm here to tell you that our minds will not let us do that. We will remember things, and we lose some excellent lessons through these experiences if we simply forget. It's a great idea to learn life lessons through hard times. Forgiveness is not condoning a harmful act. If I forgive someone, it does not mean I approve of what they did. Forgiveness is not expecting compensation. We may get nothing in return, and we will likely never get an apology. We could wait an eternity and never get one. Forgiveness does not happen all at once. It's usually a process, and we take some steps forward, and we find ourselves moving a few steps in circles. But all in all, we will move toward a resolution. There are some other things that may get in our way in this process. Sometimes we get used to being the victim, and being in control of our choice feels strange. Sometimes we develop a kind of power in our victimhood which is hard to let go once we are accustomed to it. Years ago, there was a movie called How to Make an American Quilt. One sister slept with her sister's husband, and the jilted sister broke teacups and plastered them all over a wall in the house as a shrine to her anger and to her victimhood. If we forgive, we feel like others will think we're foolish. What I'd like for us to consider is that forgiving is as much for our own benefit as it is for anyone else. We have a right to our resentment, but it's like carrying a 50-pound weight. Carrying resentment is a huge and heavy burden. It's exhausting and time-consuming, and keeps us from moving forward toward good things in life. It holds us back from other healthy relationships and keeps us stuck. And the longer we hold on to resentments, our bodies will begin to do this work for us. Stress over a long time takes its toll physically, even if it's a disease later on in life. So where do you begin? Decide who it is you need to forgive. Forgiving begins with pain, so this is not always easy. Sometimes it gets messy and several people get involved. Concentrate on one person. It's usually the hardest one to forgive, the one who hurt you the most. Then move on to those who are more on the periphery. You need to be able to name what they did. If you can name it, you can deal with it. What exactly are you forgiving? It's a decision you must make, and no one else even has to know it. You don't have to reach out to this person, but you can try to give them a gift of some kind. Maybe send a birthday card as a kindness if this would help for you in the process. Remember, this is not necessarily reconciliation, and for some people to hear that they have been forgiven, it would only make them angry. Perhaps they don't want to remember the issue or be reminded of something they want left in the past. This person did not even have to hurt you intentionally. Sometimes a major hurt happens unintentionally. It tends to complicate things, but you can forgive them anyway. The choice is yours to forgive. And one thing I would leave with you is that if God does not define me by my worst moments, I don't need to define someone else by their worst moments forever. Thank you.